All right, thank you, Alex. Joining us now to break through all of this is North Carolina Congressman Ted Budd. Congressman Budd, thank you very much for joining us. Just your initial reactions to this phone call, expected to happen within the half hour now, between the two world leaders, requested by President Putin. And, of course, Biden said yes. This is the second time in 3 weeks, though, that they will have spoken.
Well, this is part of a larger context, but the real concern is that this is about American weakness in the way that Biden has led all the way from about last August in Afghanistan. What we need is American strength, like the way Trump led. This certainly wouldn't have this problem with the Ukraine and the potential Russian invasion if he was still the president. But right now, we're very concerned. I know you were just talking about the Nord Stream 2. What you're seeing is a growing Russian strength, and they're flexing their muscle like a mother bear that's longing for her cubs. I was in Russia in August of 1991 when it began to collapse. I've seen what they're trying to rebuild. This is not a road that we want to go down again. We have to maintain our American strength, and the Biden administration is just not doing that.
And Biden was part of the Obama administration back when Russia overtook Crimea, an area of Ukraine. Do you think that that also has something to do with why they perceive this administration as being so weak?
They do. They know what the Obama administration, which has had tremendous influence on this administration, even now. And so when you saw what little green men in Crimea in 2014, the good side is that we've had 7 years for the Ukraine to prepare for a potential Russian invasion. There's only a small window when they can do this during the winter, so we got to go forward to the January 10th talks and keep pushing them off the ledge from invasion. Look, it's fine if Russia wants to behave as a sovereign. They certainly are. But they do not need to try to rebuild the old USSR, which is what Putin longs for. It's almost a form of sovereign sentimentality where he wants to rebuild the former Russian regime of the USSR.
Take a look at this tweet that went out by a former DNI, Rick Grinnell. He said, a career Foreign Service officer at the State Department tells me that the U.S. policy on Russia and Ukraine is not to have any distance from the Europeans. Whatever the Europeans want is the Biden policy. This is scary. They control him, and Putin knows it. So your response to that, because, when it comes to these demands that he's making of NATO and saying that, we don't ever want Ukraine to be able to be a NATO member, and asking Biden to be able to say yes to that when Biden can't do that, actually. So does he know that he is running, in sync with our European allies when it comes to that?
Well, what we need is that generation over there to remember 1945 all the way up to 1991 and the tremendous Cold War threat and how the U.S. helped stay that threat, and under Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush bring that to an end. 1989 with the fall of the Berlin Wall, and then 1991, the collapse of the Iron Curtain. And we need to remember the prior threat before that and how oppressive it was. And we need to make sure that we lead through American strength. So certainly we want Europe as our allies, but we need to become, going back to your prior topic, we need to become a net exporter of fuel and natural gas to Europe so they don't become dependent on potential predatory supplier, which is Russia. This Nord Stream 2 is very, very concerning because it's almost like, if you will, a drug dealer where it's cheap at first, but it becomes very expensive later on, especially during a potential harsh winter.
Yeah, and the Biden administration obviously giving the go-ahead for that by lifting sanctions. Initially, it's very difficult to go back once things are already, in the process of happening. Do you think that we should ultimately send troops on the ground to Ukraine if this does happen and Russia does invade Ukraine?
Well, it's a fine balance. We want to make sure that we supply them with what they need. We've been sending javelins for the last 18 months, or excuse me, since 2018. So we need to make sure that we supply them and give them what they need militarily. And we'll have to further evaluate if we need to send troops or not.
Yeah, because I don't know if Americans would be on board for that right when we were trying to bring our troops home from these wars in other places.
This should have been prevented through national strength, which unfortunately there was a real, a flaw in the armor back in August with our withdrawal from Afghanistan. But American strength prevents all of this problem, and that's what we need to see from any administration, including Joe Biden's administration, which unfortunately we're not seeing.
All right, we will see what comes out of the phone call today. Congressman Ted Budd from my home state of North Carolina, always great to see you. Thank you very much.
Good to see you. Thank you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.